What is up, Buff Nation? All right, we all saw the game yesterday. Okay, we saw what we saw. There was no mistaking about it. It appeared to me Nebraska, playing at home at night in front of a raucous crowd, came out more prepared, more physical, more ready to play this game. That's what it looked like to me. When the offense, Colorado's offense, came on the field first, and the first play of the game, it was like a quick screen to LeJontay Wester, and he drops the pass. I'm sure a play that they have ran over and over and over numerous times this week preparing for this game. He drops that pass, hit him right in the hands. To me, I was like, okay, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign that you as a team, you're ready and prepared for the task at hand. But first, let's ask ourselves three things as we move forward. I want to focus on three takeaways from this game yesterday. Number one, let's start with trap game. What is a trap game? Well, let's see how it's defined. A trap game in sports refers to a game where a favorite team, usually coming off a big win or looking ahead to a more important upcoming game, underestimates a weaker opponent. This can lead to a surprising or disappointing loss. The term highlights the risk of a stronger team overlooking a less competitive opponent, leading to an unexpected outcome of the likes we saw yesterday. Now, with Colorado defeating Nebraska, with Colorado defeating Nebraska last season at home in Folsom Field, do you think they came into this game knowing they have a better roster than they had last year? Do you think this game, knowing that they had a better offensive line than they had last year, do you think this game, now we have a different OC than we had last year, do you think this game Colorado came in overestimating their chances of winning? Do you think that? Because certainly you can say by the way they played, yes. They played as if they had this game before they took the field. They looked unprepared. Now, I know Coach, the staff went over every aspect of the game plan thoroughly when they began to install the game plan for this week, from installation to execution. I'm sure, well, as far as I was watching the coverage for this week, there was no indication that there was a lapse upon the team coming up to this game, and going into this game. Okay, so was this a trap game? Were they looking ahead to Colorado State? It's not. It's unique when a team plays two back-to-back rivalries. Now, Coach Prime allowed a player to get up one of the green shirts. I think his number is 79 in his practice jersey. I forget the young man's name. Forgive me, young man. But he got up and spoke to the team, and he was emphasizing the importance of beating Nebraska. He said, Colorado State, yeah, they're our little brother, but this Nebraska game is huge. This is a huge game. Yeah, I think he mentioned even all of the alumni want this game more than they want the Colorado State game. Now, I have a little bit more to say about that later, but Coach Prime was allowing this player an opportunity to give the team some background on Nebraska and the rivalry that they had with Colorado. Now, we're talking heyday Colorado. This is the new Colorado team under Coach Prime. All right. So this team was not fully informed on the importance of this game. Now, they won it last year at home. Huge win. You can say the quarterback play of Nebraska was questionable. They did have some big plays, but the guy did have some key turnovers in that game that swung the pendulum towards Colorado in winning that game. So let's answer the first question. Was this a trap game, or was Colorado outperformed from beginning to end? Now, there were some bright spots. The defense, again, played a marvelous second half. Now, you can't fault the defense for that touchdown the offense gave up, the pick six. So technically, the defense gave up 21 points in the first half. They gave up 20 points last game against North Dakota State. So you can say 20-21, that's pretty consistent for Colorado. Okay? That's pretty consistent. Now, let's move to number 2. Does CU have the front to run the ball effectively from game to game? So far, we have seen this season and last season a virtually ineffective run game. Now, I don't know. Now, Sean Lewis couldn't get a run going with the offensive line they had this year, and it appears so far Shermer cannot get a run game going. Anyone in football knows the key to winning offensively, you have to have a balanced attack. You must be able to run the ball effectively. Now, they don't have to run. I don't even think CU has had a 100-yard game from a running back yet under the Coach Prime era. Now, is that a point of emphasis? Is that something we need to look at moving forward? I can say probably officially CU has a run game issue. I won't say it's a problem yet because they have the rest of the season to fix it. But as of this video, yes, CU has a run game issue. Is it the O-line? Allegedly, CU has a better O-line. Is it the O-line? They have a better O-line. I think most would argue, based on last season's O-line, CU has a better O-line. This season. That's something to look forward to, because you can't be one-dimensional in football at any level in football, because the D-line, the ends are going to peel back their ears, and they're going to come at the quarterback. I don't think Nebraska did anything unusual that they didn't do last year. If you remember how they started, Nebraska jumped on CU early at home last year, but the turnovers were the difference in that game. They had, and I think the defense was probably on the field a lot longer than the offense. Nebraska's defense played a lot longer than last year's defense. They were on the field. So those are some things to point out, to look at. And finally, are you still all in on the Prime effect? Now we're going to find out who is who and what's what on this roster Coach Prime has built. We're going to see if the players that he has, that he put together, that he brought in and let go, okay, are these guys all in? You have Colorado State coming up, another road game, so you won't have that energy that you get from your home crowd, although there may be some Colorado fans at that game. This is going to be a tough week for CU in terms of preparation for Colorado State, because I hope they don't come into this next game thinking about this Nebraska loss. They have to put this Nebraska loss completely behind them. Here's another thing to look at. If you followed Coach Prime when he was at Jackson State, he was able to each year build the roster better, and better. That team, that roster got better each season Coach Prime spent at Jackson State. If you remember, he did nothing. Coach Prime is doing nothing differently at CU that he didn't do at Jackson State. He spent the first year out. If you remember the videos Bucky was putting out, Well Off Media, they were showing meetings with players. They were having conversations. There were transfers. There were guys that didn't fit into the system. This is going to be a continual process. The only difference is it's at a power 4. I don't know what happened to the 5, but it's at a power 4 level now. So it's going to take Coach Prime probably a season or 2 more than he took at Jackson State. Now, we know in the last 2 seasons at Jackson State, they went back-to-back in the SWAC. Now, people are going to say, well, that's FCS football. This is FBS football. These are the big boys. And we're going to see. Okay? Now, they have the rest of this season to get it right, to get a running game. Are you still all in on the Prime effect? We're going to see how the players respond to that question against Colorado State. Now, prognosticators and pundits are going to say, well, it was Colorado State. If they take a L, they're going to really start to, the echoes of Mr. Keeler are going to start ringing. And people are going to look back and say, wow, Mr. Keeler may have had a point about what he was saying. Okay? You're going to start hearing echoes of that starting to reverberate. But the bottom line is, are you still all in? Do you still think Coach Prime can get the job done? Do you still think he has the staff in place to overcome this disappointing loss and bounce back to have the season that they want to have, i.e. being competitive the rest of the year to be a playoff contender? We'll see, CU fans. Buff Nation, hold on to your seats. This Colorado State game is going to be a good one. I think, I hope they bounce back, but we will see. I think it begins with a running game, and do the players still believe? You all have a blessed day. I'm out.
It translates in practice. I don't say stuff just to say it for a click, you know, contrary to what some may say. But yeah, I keep receipts. But I'm serious. I analyze and I understand what we're up against and what we have and what we need. One thing that I could say honestly and candidly, you better get me right now. This is the worst we're going to be. You better get me right now.